is Inside Out.
Inside Out is presented by HTC, here to connect. And Magnolia's at 26th for good old-fashioned Southern comfort food, where Mama eats.
'Tis the season, friends, and welcome to Inside Out. I always love our December segments because they always have to do with the holidays. We've got a greeting card designer. We're going to the Trestle in Conway. We've got the Horry County Literacy Council and more music from Waves of the Future. But we begin with the happiest farm around. That's none other than Booth's Christmas Tree Farm.
This segment of Inside Out is brought to you by Magnolia's at 26th for good old-fashioned Southern comfort food, where Mama eats.
Are you ready to deck the halls? Well, of course you're going to want to do it with Booth's Christmas Tree Farm in the Adrian community of Conway. I want you to meet Lauren Booth. And Lauren and her daddy, Haley, were with us about 10 years ago on the show. And of course, I interviewed your dad 35 years ago. We go back a long time. But this farm has been in your family for how long, Lauren?
60 years this year.
Wow. How many acres? You've grown.
We have 140 acres that we own here, but we have roughly about 30 to 40 acres of trees planted.
So what do you do with the rest of the land?
The rest of the land is forested or it's wetland, one of the two. You know, we live in a wet area, so we have swamps and a creek that runs through, a swamp that runs through.
Tell me how many different types of trees you have here.
Okay. We grow 6 varieties of trees here on the farm, and we also bring in the fresh cut Fraser fir from the mountains of North Carolina. Those trees do not grow here in South Carolina, unfortunately, so we do have to bring those in pre-cut.
Let's talk about the greenery that you sell.
Okay.
A lot of that comes from North Carolina.
Yes, the majority of the greenery, wreaths and garland that we sell is made from Fraser fir. So because that lasts longer than typically some of the other trees that we grow here on the farm, so we make the wreaths out of that, we make the garland out of it. We do mix it sometimes with other things just to give it a little pop of color or something like that, but we pretty much sell just green, beautiful green wreaths with fragrant smells.
Now, when people come here to purchase a tree or look for greenery, they need to know that there are certain things they need to order in advance.
That's correct. We only make garland to your order, so we don't have it pre-made. That way it's not sitting around and getting dried out or anything like that. We can also make it any length that you need. We try to stop it around 25 foot because it gets very heavy. So if you needed more than 25 foot, we can make it in 25 foot or less sections. The wreaths, we do have some for sale most of the time. During the busiest times, we do run out. So if you know that you're going to come on a certain day to get your tree and you want to know that you've got a wreath available, just give us a call, leave it on the answering machine, and we'll give you a call back and get your order taken care of.
So let's talk about how long you've been open already. This is December, but I know you opened earlier and you've been slammed.
Yes, we opened on November 19th. And that was the weekend before Thanksgiving. And we had a record number of people here. Everybody that didn't get a tree last year came early this year to get a tree. So our Fraser firs are getting pretty slim.
I bet, though, during the pandemic, you had an incredible year. Because I bet there were people who never even put up a tree, but now they had time to do it.
That's right. They wanted to have that traditional Christmas. We sold a record number of trees off of the farm even over the last couple of years with the pandemic and people wanting to be, have that special home Christmas. And it's been good, but it's also been bad because we overcut in a lot of our areas, so we don't have as many trees as we would like to have in the field. When we reach a certain amount cut, around 600, we will probably stop the cutting also, when we anticipate that to be about mid-December.
So people really need to buy early.
They need to buy early, yes ma'am.
You've got some activities happening in December that are always fun for the family.
Yes ma'am. We offer hay rides to and from the field. They will take you out to the field, drop you off, let you run around, let your kids run around, get rid of some of that energy. Find your perfect tree. Once it's cut down, they'll bring you and the tree back to the front of the farm where we process all the Christmas trees. So what that means is that we shake all of the loose foliage out. So we have fall shedding, just like pine trees shed their pine straw. The trees that we have here also go through a fall shedding process, which happens around Thanksgiving and Christmas. So we shake all of that out, any kind of loose foliage, any kind of bugs or anything that might be stuck in there. And then we can drill the tree for a spike stand that we use, or we can not drill it if you don't prefer to have that done. And then we net it to shrink it up, and that allows you to easier access into the house. It also helps you to get it home safer as well.
Now, I heard there was a national shortage of trees.
There is, yes ma'am. There is a national shortage of the Fraser fir, and I would assume a couple of other types of fir in a 8 to 9 to 10 foot range.
And why is that?
When the recession happened back in 2006, there was not a lot of people buying real trees, and they weren't spending a lot of money. So the farmers decreased the amount of trees that they planted. And a Christmas tree pretty much takes about 6 to 9 years to get mature. So once it reaches maturity, they cut it down, they have to start over again. We started seeing a lull in those sizes around probably about 4 years ago. And now, because of the pandemic and everybody wanted to get that fresh tree, there was more trees sold across the nation. There was more trees, real trees sold. And so now they've cut into that future year's inventory, and they don't have those available sizes. I anticipate we will probably see this for the next 3 to 4 years. A lull or a shortage in the taller sizes because it takes so long to get a tree that tall.
What advice do you have, Lauren, for people who come to your lot and cut down a tree and take it home? And there must be some, I'd say, old wives' tales that aren't really good and aren't really true. And I want you to dish it out to us.
Okay, so the best thing about keeping your cut tree fresh the longest is to make sure you keep it in water. Do not let your water run out. Second, if you have a air vent near it, shut that air vent off, because that will help dry that tree out faster with that air blowing on it.
Sure.
Do not place it near your fireplace. It's very pretty right beside the fireplace, but if you use that fireplace, it's going to dry it out faster. Do not put it near a heater. Same difference. Don't put it near your air return, where your air conditioner pulls all of that air through. That's going to help it dry out faster. The burning of the lights is not as much of a factor these days. A lot of people say, oh, well, it'll burn the house down. With the new lights that they have come out with over the last, I'd say 10 years at least, these LED lights don't get hot while they burn. You can burn them for 12 hours. They don't get hot. I don't recommend you burning them all night long. I don't recommend you burning them when you leave your home. Always unplug them, have them on a timer, something like that.
Now, there are people who put aspirin in the water.
I've
There's
heard.
people who put beer in the water. That only makes a drunk tree. So,
well, I've heard vodka. I heard one lady tell me she put vodka in the tree, and I said, well, did it fall over? I've heard aspirin, I've heard Sprite, I've heard sugar. Florists do use a type of sugary mixture to put into cut flowers that helps them stay fresher longer. I have never tried it. I always tell people to put water out of your tap, straight out of the faucet. Hot water, people say hot water, people say cold water. I say water, just as long as you keep it full. Hot water isn't going to kill it, but it might shock it. I wouldn't recommend to do that either.
So, Lauren, let's tell everyone how easy it is to get here. It was a piece of cake for me coming in from Myrtle Beach.
Yes, a piece of cake coming down 31 and 22. We're located pretty much near the intersection of Highway 22 and 701. On my website, in the frequently asked questions, I have a detailed directions on how to get to our farm from any location that you may be watching us in.
Great. How about hours for the season?
Hours, we are open Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Sundays, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m.
And everyone needs to remember that trees could sell out by mid-December.
That's right.
So don't wait. Now, I've got one final question. 35 years ago when I interviewed your daddy, He told me that he was concerned that his daughter may never care about the farm, and he just didn't know whether the next generation was going to be possible for Booth's Christmas Tree Farm. He must be so incredibly proud of you.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you are doing a dynamite job.
Well, thank you so much.
What about you? Are you worried about the next generation?
I'm a little worried. I do have a 5-year-old son, Troy, and he has shown a lot of interest helping me and his papa. He goes out in the field with us and looks at the trees. He knows the different types of trees. He's helped us plant the trees. He knows how to do that. He's very interested into it now. But as a teenager, he's not going to be wanting to get out here and trim the trees and cut grass, because I can remember me not wanting to do that as well.
Well, let's hope Troy does exactly that, because we want another 60 years of Booth's Christmas Tree Farm. Give Haley my love, and may I say, God bless all of the Booths. Booth Christmas Tree Farm, Adrian Community. Up next, the Trestle shares their pound cake recipe. Mama loves magnolias, and you will too. It's where the Anderson family farm comes to the table. There's an all-you-can-eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, Saturday and Sunday brunch buffet, salad bar, homemade desserts, all served by our staff. Mama's right. You can't cook it this cheap. And that ice cream machine guaranteed to produce smiles. Banquet space available too. Magnolias for good old Southern comfort food and hospitality at its finest. 26th Avenue North and Ocean Boulevard in Myrtle Beach.
From the Grand Strand to the farmland, from Main Street to the marshes, HTC is here to connect you to what matters most in your life. We're here to bring people together, here to play, and here to empower our communities with the largest fiber optic network in the area. Go with HTC. We are here to connect you to your world.
Are you ready to party for the holidays?
We're ready to party.
This is Marsha, and we're here at the Trestle Cafe and Bakery, and I'm telling you, it smells good in here. And you are going to get a lesson in making an easy pound cake. But this is a great story because Marsha and Stephen worked here for years. Marsha, 5 years here at the Trestle, and they've become owners this past January, right?
This past January.
What's it like now owning the joint?
Oh, it's super exciting. It is a lot to take on, but we love it. It's in our heart. We love this community, this town. We're just having so much fun with it. It's so exciting. What a blessing.
But what was neat is that the previous owners said that you and Stephen were the perfect couple to take this on.
Yes. They thought that we could love this place and take care of it like they did, and they just really wanted us to take it over for them.
There's certainly nobody out there who hasn't eaten at the Trestle, and if you haven't, shame on you. I love that fruity chicken salad you guys got. And
that is delicious.
Breads. Oh my goodness, your sourdough bread is awesome.
Yes, ma'am. We make it here every single day in this bakery.
We'll talk more about the restaurant and bakery in a moment, but we want to show you how easy it is to whip up a pound cake. And if you're looking for an easy gift, Marsha said you can come in and buy something like this, glazed, seasoned, whatever. We'll talk about that. But it's easy to make.
It's super simple
Let's
to
do
make,
it.
Diane. We're just going to start, and we have some butter and cream cheese, and we're going to get this in our mixer.
Cream cheese, that's interesting.
This is a cream cheese pound cake. We're going to put our sugar in also, and we're just going to let this cream up a little bit. And while that's working, we can talk about the different flavors we have.
Right.
We have lemon blueberry, peach, vanilla, chocolate, pumpkin, all perfect for the holidays. They make perfect gifts for teachers, for your children. We sell them the little ones, big ones or by the slice. You could come in and get a slice, check it out, which one's your favorite, before you decide to purchase the whole cake or even the minis.
But this really is a neat little gift for
It is
neighbors.
Perfect. Just to say thank you, maybe for your delivery men that deliver your packages, or the neighbor kid who gets your mail for you, just a sweet little thoughtful gift.
Now, when I came in, you all were baking some breads. I know you have cheese bread out there. Tell us about your breads while that's whipping up.
So we have cheese breads, rye, wheat, pumpernickel, and of course our delicious homemade sourdough bread. We've also added a banana walnut bread.
Oh.
And it is very delicious. I would suggest everyone try that.
I bet it is. So that is really whipping up
So
nicely.
now that it's
and
creamed,
smells good.
Yes. Now that it's creamed together, we're just going to add our eggs. We're going to add them slowly, one at a time, and just let them incorporate. The secret really to a good pound cake is about how you incorporate your ingredients. You just can't dump it all at one time. You have to kind of baby it a little bit. So when we get that in, we're going to go ahead and add our flavoring to it.
And that is?
This is a vanilla flavoring, a really good vanilla. And then we're just going to slowly incorporate our flour.
So it doesn't go up in smoke.
No, we just want to slowly incorporate it. We don't want to dump it all in at one time.
And while you're doing that, Marsha, is it true that when you're making a pound cake, your eggs and butter should be room temperature?
They should be.
Because I think that makes a big difference,
It just
too.
makes a better pound cake. And it's easier on your mixer if they're room temperature, because it doesn't have to work as hard.
But I guess people worry about leaving eggs and butter out when they're usually in the fridge.
Yeah, just if you're planning on baking in the morning, just before you go to bed at night, just put them out on your kitchen counter. It'll be totally fine. It's not a problem at all to let it come to room temperature. And it does make it easy for you, and you get a better cake in the end, for sure.
Now look at how easy this is. It's
Super
already doughing
simple.
right up.
Yes, we're just going to add the rest of this flour in here.
What's your hottest selling pound cake?
Probably vanilla.
People
And then
just
chocolate. Everybody loves vanilla. This is a really good vanilla extract I use, so it really just makes it.
Well, I noticed, and I asked you what the flavor was, because usually vanilla has that dark color, and that was crystal clear.
Yeah, it's a special vanilla. It's kind of my secret. And so it's what makes this cake delicious.
All right.
So now that we have it all worked up, we'll just simply put it in our pans that we spray, and we'll get those in the oven, and they bake for an hour, and then we're left with this.
Well, let's glaze this up and show people how
Sure.
adorable it is, and how you glaze it so that it looks good and not messy.
Yeah, so some people prefer them plain with no glaze, and we will certainly just call ahead, let us know. We'll get you one that has no glaze on it. We want everyone to be happy and get just what they want. And we just want to put a little bit. We don't want to, take over the cake. We just want a little hint of sweetness, and that'll just fall down super nice around the edges and just give you a nice drip look.
I saw something out there in the counter that was like chocolate mousse layers and chocolate poof on the top. What was that?
That is our homemade chocolate mousse roll.
Oh my gosh.
That is delicious.
It looks it, and I'm a chocoholic.
Yes, well, you definitely have to get some of that.
Oh my word, I'm telling you. And then I noticed that there were all sorts of cookies and, candies. You do it all.
Oh yes, we have our hands in a little bit of everything. We love to try new recipes for as the seasons come and go. We're making something new all the time here.
Well, I saw when I came over here, I passed the restaurant, and Stephen had his hands in all sorts of spices. And then he said he was going to smear it on the prime rib. What's that all about?
Yeah, so he's down there preparing actually a prime rib with his secret marinade he puts on it, and it is so delicious. You must go check him out.
So you can order prime rib for the holidays?
You can order prime rib for the holidays. We'll cater your dinner for you, your office party for Christmas, whatever event you may have. We would love to help you.
But in other words, if I want to do my own dinner, let's say I want to do all the sides, but I want to
Sure.
come and get a prime rib or ham or turkey from you.
Absolutely. We'll do your entree or your sides or in whatever way we can help you. We'll most certainly love to help you.
So while Stephen is doctoring up the food, tell me your love story, which happened right here at the restaurant.
Yes. So actually, Steve come in looking for a job, and I was running the cash register over at the cafe, and I'm the first person he talked to, and I give him a job application. He filled it up, and he got hired, and then he must have asked me out for 6 months on a date, and I just would not go. And he wore me down, and then one night we went out to dinner. Then we started dating, and he proposed to me on our way to the Christmas party, and we've been happily married for 3 years.
That's a beautiful love story.
Yeah, timing is everything, and everything in God's time, and it's wonderful to be a partner in life, a partner in business, to get to spend your days and nights with the person you love. It's awesome.
I know, because I'm with Chuck all the time.
Yes, you know firsthand how wonderful it is.
You bet. Now, Miss Terry's been working here a long time, too.
Miss Terry has. She is near and dear to our hearts. We love Miss Terry. She's our catering manager. She goes above and beyond. She's with us at every wedding. She's just phenomenal.
And I can smell the coffee brewing, which means you serve coffee with all these desserts.
Absolutely. We have a different selection of brewed coffees. You can also get cappuccinos and lattes. We have different flavorings. You can make it just special for you. Whatever you like, we can make it up for you.
And one thing I especially love is the outdoor dining space that you have next to your restaurant where we can bring our dogs.
Yes, the people have enjoyed that so much on the nice days. They bring their children, and they can even bring their pet, and you feel like you can get the whole family included, fur babies. It's just nice to be able to come outside and enjoy the weather and,
Absolutely.
Be with your children and your animals, and you got everybody.
Let's talk about cookies, too.
Oh, for Christmas, we're going to be doing some special Christmas cookies. We're going to have cookie platters for you to order or stop by and pick up. We'll have a Christmas table out with cakes and assortment cookies for you to pick up, on your way to that holiday party when you're in a hurry. So you don't even have to think about dessert. We got you covered.
What is Christmas without cookies, right? And one more question. What's new for the new year for the Trestle?
So for the new year, we're looking into staying open for the theater before. You can grab some dinner, a quick sandwich, or maybe after you can stop in for a coffee and a sweet.
So that would be great. You got to line up the right team to make it happen.
Yes, ma'am. We're looking for those folks now.
This is Marsha and Stephen Taylor. As you met Stephen earlier with the prime rib, they're doing a great job with the trestle. And finally, your hours.
Okay, so our hours for the cafe are 7 to 5, Monday through Friday, 7 to 3 on Saturday, and we're closed all day on Sunday. The hours for the bakery are 6:30 to 6, Monday through Friday, and on Saturday, 6:30 to 3. Also closed on Sunday.
Come on in and enjoy the trestle. And don't forget to place your catering orders and especially your pound cake orders as soon as possible. Happy holidays! Meet a local greeting card designer with some really creative ideas right after this break.
Ring in the new year with the Long Bay Symphony at the Strauss on the Strand Gala, an elegant evening of cocktails, dinner and dancing, and the Strauss on the Strand concert of beloved Viennese favorites. Dress to the nines and come celebrate a New Year's Eve to remember. December 31st at the Kingston Plantation Palisades Ballroom. It's sure to be a sellout, so call early for tickets and make your reservations before December 22nd. Call 843-448-8379 or go online at longbaysymphony.com.
What are you going to do with your Christmas cards or even your greeting cards that you get in 2023? We've got a great idea for you from a very creative lady. This is Joanne Junk, and Joanne and I met at church. She is amazing. Her talent is, well, it's just endless, but this is just one of the many things that Joanne does. At church, she gets a list of people who are sick or have someone else in their family who's sick who just need cheering up, and she sends 15 to 20 cards a week that she has made out to people, and it's really impressive. This is a great recycling effort too. How did this all begin for you?
Absolutely. It started with my sending just cards to people, a couple of people from church, and it kind of mushroomed from there. I had people that would come up to me and say, I saw Sally's card and it was wonderful. Maybe could you consider sending one to my Aunt Ruth? So it started like that, and I just get the names and I start sending them anywhere from, I think you mentioned, anywhere from 10 to 20 cards a week, depending. And it seems like now is the season, we're sending more and more. So that's how it all started, and it has grown since then.
Have you ever, over the years, considered yourself an artist? Did you do any other type of artistic endeavor?
I did. When I was young, I was a makeup artist. So perhaps it came from there. I don't know, but I've always loved arts and crafts and that sort of thing.
So what's Harry doing, your husband? What's he doing while you're doing this at home?
Well, typically I do this on Sunday afternoons. So it is a watch football and make cards.
I love it.
He's beside me watching football, and I'm beside him watching football and making cards.
The cards are so inspirational because inside there is a beautiful verse from the Bible. And then these cards can be recycled because Joanne does not sign them.
Correct.
Let's kind of start from the top and tell us how you begin.
Okay, so we start with cardstock, and you can buy cardstock just about any place. And it's just on your personal preference what type of cardstock that we're going to use.
Pretty.
So you take the cardstock and then you cut it into card size, and you end up with the shapes. Oftentimes I will use pinking shears, cut them with pinking shears, as you see on these.
Right.
They're like with pinking shears. Other times I'll just use regular scissors, and they're just squared off. And then I go to the back of the card, and the back of the card, typically speaking, will have a stamp on it. And I have my little baggies of stamps here. It will be something like Jesus loves you, or you are inscribed on the palm of his hand, or whatever. And I sign the back of the card, and then I save the fun part, the front of it. I save that for last. So I then go to the middle of it, and I will decorate on the left-hand side, put a verse of some sort on the right-hand side, and then creatively decide what I want to put on the front of the card. So I use construction paper a lot, and I use a wide variety of cutouts from other cards. So don't ever throw your cards away when you get cards in the mail from people, or even, I don't know about you all, but for me, this time of year, we get tons of cards that people send us for donations.
Of course.
Yes, so I save all of those. And in addition to all of the cards I save and the ones that I save from having received them, I also purchase the stickers of a wide variety of different things. So just save everything, and you can create the front of your cards from utilizing whatever it is that you have saved and using the construction paper.
The art stores in town must love you.
Yep.
I mean, you know, you go in there and you probably spend hours. But I mean, these Christmas designs are so beautiful with Mary and Joseph, the baby Jesus and the wise men, even the camel. And this is something you can send out all year long with the dove.
Yes.
And it's certainly just, you can feel the peace.
Thank you.
And of course butterflies. But you know, here you have a sticker, but as you said, you might find a butterfly on a former greeting card that you received.
Absolutely. I found some beautiful ones on, and just cut them out and put them in your little bin and save them for later when you're going to use them.
So most of the time you have a stash of cards ready to go, but I'm sure there are times you really want to personalize.
I do, absolutely. And speaking of personalizing and along those lines, I do not sign I don't write on the interior of the cards. I leave that completely blank. Instead, I use a blank 3x5 card and I write my message to the individual on that and enclose that, because that allows the individual to recycle that card and to send it on to somebody that they might know of that needs a little cheer me up. So that's the best part of the whole thing, I think.
There's got to be a card that you've sent to someone that is one of your favorites. Is there something that you love using? Like, I know you like butterflies, frogs, another butterfly, poinsettias, but there's got to be something that you use a lot of.
I use a lot of butterflies. I use a lot of angels. I use a lot of hearts, a lot of crosses. So anything like this, like it's just a picture of the Bible, and then you jazz it up however you want to jazz it up.
And I especially love this and all of your Christmas motifs. But think about all the Christmas cards you're going to get with pretty photos and of different things of Santa and reindeer and the nativity that you can cut up and make cards for next year.
Yes, yes. And borders. If you see some really pretty borders on a Christmas card that you get, you see some stars, like a lot of Christmas cards have stars on them, and stars are especially pretty on cards. So you can cut those out and use that. Manger scenes, just about anything.
I think people at our church want to get sick because they want a Joanne Junk card. I mean, if you haven't received a Joanne Junk card, then you're not living. You know what I'm saying? People love getting them, and you've become kind of the talk of the church. You know, that,
Well, it's a blessing. I am far more blessed in making them, trust me, than they are in receiving them. And I say that honestly and truly. When I make these cards, let's just say I'm making this card for Susie Smith. While I'm making it, I am thinking of Susie Smith. I am praying for Susie Smith. So it brings me great joy once I complete that, knowing that I have prayed for her, and now I'm going to stick it in a nice matching envelope and send it to Susie Smith to hopefully brighten her day.
Tell us how you do this, because I know this probably is one of the most difficult parts, getting the scripture and folding it and putting it together.
And there's two different sizes that I use. I use that size, and then there are, which I might not be able to find. Well, this gives one little example. So there's a smaller size scripture, and then there is the larger scripture that we just looked at. So here's a smaller one. So these type I put vertically, and the other type like this, I will do that and fold it and put a little heart on it. So just trying different things.
So Joanne, have you made any cards for someone having a baby? That's another whole
I
topic.
have, yes. I don't make a lot of them because I'm not in that age range where
Me
I know
either.
a lot about people. But I have made several, probably a dozen or so, and that's fun. That's lots of fun because it's different aside from, and anniversaries. I have done that as well.
Birthdays.
Yeah, birthdays.
And I heard that you were very honored to have your cards displayed at a local restaurant, hanging on a clothesline across the entire restaurant. Please tell me that story.
I was, yes, and it was such an honor, and I was so blessed by the entire thing. A very, very dear friend and church member passed away, but prior to her passing, she had fought a very long battle and very strong battle. And during that period of time, I had sent her a card weekly, and she had saved all those cards. And this had gone on for over a couple of years, so there were a lot of cards there. So for her memorial service, her family took clothesline and strung the clothesline through the restaurant. And they took all of those cards with a clothespin and clothesline clipped them to the clothesline, so that they were all on display throughout the restaurant. It was so very, very touching, and it totally blessed me.
So I hope that we have inspired you to save your cards, recycle them, and do as Joanne has done. Get your creativity going for 2023. Thank you so much, Joanne. God bless you for all the wonderful things you do, and hopefully you have inspired others, because you certainly have inspired me.
I have been blessed. Thank you.
How about some taiko drumming from Carolina Forest Elementary School? And a beautiful soloist from Conway Middle School. Don't go away.
From Murrells Inlet to Marion, from the golf courses to the area's gorgeous beaches, HTC is here to connect you with the largest fiber optic network in the area. We are here to help our communities, here to help you benefit as a member of our local cooperative, and here to empower the moments that are important in your life. We're HTC, and we're here to connect you to your world.
It all happens right here on the stage of the beautiful new First Presbyterian Church in Myrtle Beach.
This year we feature the New York Gilbert and Sullivan Players, virtuoso violinist Subain Lee, Polish-American soprano Magdalena Kuzba, the award-winning Ukrainian pianist Dmitry Chony.
Season tickets starting at $75, now available at First Presbyterian Church of Myrtle Beach. As most of you know, we've been featuring students from Waves of the Future. This is a wonderful event that raises money for the performing arts students of Horry County schools. It's sponsored by Chicora Rotary Club, and it's held at the Carolina Opry. In 2023, the date is the first Sunday of May. Put it on your calendar. Now, we might not have a little drummer boy for you on today's show, but I do have the taiko drummers from Carolina Forest Elementary School under the direction of Ben Anderson. Next up is a solo from Reese Richardson at Conway Middle School under the direction of Casey David. The song is Believe for It.
They say these chains will never break, but they don't know you like we do. There is power in your name. We've heard that there is no way through. We've heard the tide will never change. They haven't seen what you can do. There is power in your name. So much power in your name. Move the immovable, break the unbreakable. God, we believe. God, we believe for it. From the impossible, we'll see a miracle. God, we believe. God, we believe for it. We know that hope is never lost. Oh, for there is still an empty grave. God, we believe no matter what, there is power in your name. So much power in your name. Move the immovable, break the unbreakable. God, we believe. God, we believe for it. From the impossible, we'll see a miracle. God, we believe. God, we believe for it. Yes, we believe. You are the way when there seems to be no way. We trust in you, God, you have the final say. When there seems to be no way. Yes, you are. God, you have the final say. The final say. Yes, you are. God, you have the final say. Move the immovable, break the unbreakable. God, we believe. God, we believe for it. From the impossible, we'll see a miracle. God, we believe. God, we believe for it. Move the immovable, break the unbreakable. God, we believe. God, we believe for it. From the impossible, we'll see a miracle. God, we believe. God, we believe for it.
One of the greatest gifts you can ever give anyone, coming up in our next segment. The Shepherd's Table of Conway. We are volunteers from churches, civic clubs, and businesses, providing a free meal each weekday from 4:30 until 6 p.m. for those in need of fellowship and love. The homeless, the hungry, or someone who's tired of eating alone. No questions asked. Come join our family. We need volunteers, food, fundraisers, and donations. It's the Shepherd's Table, 1412A, Gamecock Avenue in Conway, sharing God's love one meal at a time. So if I told you you could give the greatest gift of all and it wouldn't cost you a dime, do you know what that would be? It would be to teach someone how to read. And there's plenty of people in our very own community who need just that. I want you to meet Cheryl Mathieu. And Cheryl is the executive director of our Horry County Literacy Council. What I find amazing is that she retired young here from Connecticut, and you just wanted to give back to the community and do something. How awesome.
Thank you, and thanks for having me.
You took this job as a tutor. You started out as a tutor.
I started out as a volunteer. Yep.
Tell me about that. What was it like being a tutor and now teaching tutors?
I thoroughly enjoy it. I really do. I taught different things as my children were growing up. I taught their religious ed class. I taught piano lessons. And so I'm not a teacher by trade, but I certainly have that teaching vein in me. So I came down and again, right, we both retired, my husband and I, and decided I need to find a way to give back. And so I landed at the Literacy Council as a volunteer. I've tutored one student over the summer when I first arrived here and helped him to transition from elementary school to middle school. And then things kind of fell into place. They were looking for someone that could help lead the organization, and I was looking for something to give back, and it was a perfect match.
You know, Cheryl, you just said something that kind of perked my mind. The fact that we always think of a tutor helping another adult learn how to read. But you're telling me that you helped a young student who really might not have been getting it in school.
Correct.
Not to mention the COVID issue.
Right. So we tutor students anywhere. We tell folks anywhere from first grade on up. I actually have folks in their 60s and 70s that have reached out looking for tutoring help. So really it depends upon each individual scenario is unique. We have had a lot of very young children, their parents reaching out because due to COVID, they did kindergarten or first grade primarily through a Zoom class. And so when you get back into the classroom, you realize, you know, my child could use some extra help. So we have paired a number of very young students to help them.
And let's face it, if young kids don't learn how to read, then none of their courses are going to make any sense along the way. I mean, they'll really be crippled in every sense for life.
Right.
Got to get it right.
Exactly.
Let's talk about some of the things that we take for granted because we learned how to read as kids. For a 60-year-old, what are some of the things that they're so excited about learning?
We've had folks that have reached out to us. Initially, the Literacy Council was founded 46 years ago based on a need to learn how to read the Bible. And obviously it has migrated and changed over the years. So we've had adult students reach out looking to learn how to read the newspaper, learn how to read their medication that they get at the doctor's office, and we also have students, adults that have come here to the U.S. that English is now their second language. And so we set them up either in a group setting to learn, or we do one-on-one tutoring with them.
Well, then I would guess your numbers have grown between the pandemic and those moving here who need to learn English.
Yes. The short answer is yes. We have definitely, and that's why we're out always looking for other folks that want to give back, give an hour a week of their time is what we call it, and help a student, whether that's a child in school or an adult.
I think about someone going to a doctor's office, not being able to fill out the forms, not being able to drive because you can't read the street signs or understand them.
Understand them, correct.
And I would guess too that reading to a child or grandchild is so meaningful that you miss out on that as well.
Absolutely. Yep. I've actually had one tutor come through that went through an orientation recently, and one of his fondest memories, he says, is remembering sitting in his grandmother's lap and her reading to him. And so that was when he came to us, he said, I want to give back because I remember how that felt.
Tell us how someone learns to read. through your program. I believe it's called the Laubach method. What does that entail?
Yep. So we actually have several different books that we use depending upon the student, whether it's a child or an adult. We have a system called Barton that we use that was primarily developed years ago for folks that are dyslexic, and so it helps them in a different way to learn how to read. But yes, then we also have the Laubach method, which is a series of books that takes them from the most basic, learning the true basics, letter sounds, what they look like, how to write them, all the way up through, longer stories and paragraphs, and gradually taking them through that process.
So are people taught to read in the same way you and I were taught to read while we were in school? Is it the same basis?
I would say it's probably the same. When the students come in, we do an assessment with them. So the first person that they'll interact with when they call us or email us or reach out to us is I'll get to them and do an assessment of the student, essentially to figure out what their reading level is. And then from there, it becomes a pairing process to figure out where are they located, because obviously we don't want to pair someone in North Myrtle with someone in Pawleys Island, because they will end up all day on the road trying to find one another.
Sure.
And so it becomes a pairing process of what does the student need, what does the tutor want? That's important as well. In all of the orientations, I ask the tutors, tell me what you want out of this, because we want to make it meaningful for them. And some tutors, they want to tutor students. Others come in and say, I want to teach an adult. And so you work through all of that and pair them together.
And I'm sure you're very interested too in whether the tutor wants to give 1 hour a week or more than that, and what days work for them.
Right. So we have one-on-one tutoring that we do, which is essentially exactly what it sounds like, one student to one tutor. We are also in the North Strand, South Strand, Green Sea, and Carolina Forest, Horry County Rec Centers. Those are students that I call a captive audience. We're also at the Chapin YMCA, and our tutors go in during their homework hour. And I call those students captive because they have a homework hour where they have to either do their homework or read, and our tutors are there to help them. So if you think about it, we're helping those families. I think about it when they get home and after they've gone to the rec center and they get home and they're eating dinner and they have to prepare for the next day. Isn't it great that they've had the opportunity to get their homework done with a tutor while they were at after-school program?
So I've already said that it won't cost the tutor any money. Will it cost the recipient, those who want to read, will it cost them a cent?
No, the answer is no. So we are, for both the tutor and the student, the cost is free. And we're primarily funded through private donations, grants that we apply for annually, and then we hold a signature fundraiser every February. And this year, in February of 2023, it's going to be on Saturday, February 4th at the Dunes Golf and Beach Club, and it's a murder mystery gala. And so we partner with the Carolina Forest High School Theater. They have actually agreed to write, produce, and perform the murder mystery for us this year. So it promises to be phenomenal.
Well, with Craig McBroom in charge of those students, it's bound to be spectacular.
Yes.
And that's really exciting.
Yep.
I mean, to have them handling that, you don't have to worry a bit about it.
Right. Yep. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we're so excited because we have been sidelined for 2 years due to COVID. So if folks have attended it in the past, it would have been 2020 or previous. So we're glad to be back.
And how do folks get tickets?
They can go to our website, and there's a link there where you can buy tickets online, or if folks prefer, they can call our office and or come down with a check, and feel free to purchase tickets that way.
And speaking of coming down with a check, you can give to this organization, and it's a great way to get a tax deduction. It's a nonprofit organization, and as you've already heard Cheryl say, they don't receive any big money. They try to apply for a few grants here and there, but they could use some donations in addition to hearing from those of you who would like to tutor in the new year. Thank you so much for being with us, Cheryl.
Thank you.
And thanks for coming out of retirement to handle this organization. You bet. Our Our final feature includes a theme that we should all enter the new year with. Don't miss North Myrtle Beach Middle School 7th grade chorus.
HTC is here to connect you to the things that matter most in your life. With the area's largest fiber optic network, HTC is here with the fastest speeds to help power your day. Do a little multitasking. Keep the peace. All to help your day run smoother than ever before. See how HTC is here to connect you to your world and take advantage of these great offers today.
Our final segment features 7th graders from North Myrtle Beach Middle School under the direction of Jason Madeline. Their message and song should be our mantra for the new year: nothing's gonna stop me.
Never before have I wanted it more. I'm playing the game and I'm ready to score. Like it or not, I'm taking my shot, baby. Here's what I got, more than you thought, maybe. And you can quote me. I feel like nothing is gonna stop me. If you think I'm bluffing, step back and watch me. You won't see me fade away, no. I'm here to stay, and I'm telling you nothing is gonna stop me. Whoa. I will follow my dreams. Deep in my heart, I can find what I need. I can find what I need. I reap what I sow, think what I know. Never let go, that's my MO. And you can quote me. I feel like nothing is gonna stop me. If you think I'm bluffing, step back and watch me. You won't see me fade away, no. I'm here to stay, and I'm telling you nothing is gonna stop me. Whoa, listen, my friend, I'll tell you again. Listen, my friend, listen, my friend. Listen, my friend, I'll tell you again. Listen, my friend, listen, I'll tell you again. Listen, my friend, I'll tell you again. I feel like nothing is gonna stop me. You think I'm bluffing, step back and watch me. You won't see me fade away, no. I'm here to stay, and I'm telling you nothing is gonna stop me. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
And so next month, I want you to know we'll be expanding. Not only will we be going inside and out of Horry and Georgetown counties, we're going inside out of Marion County as well. So hopefully I'll see all of you in January. And from everyone at HTC, we wish you a blessed Christmas.
Inside Out is presented by HTC, here to connect. And Magnolia's at 26th for good old-fashioned Southern comfort food, where Mama eats.